Welcome everyone. So as a full-time massage therapist, something I'm always working on is my shoulder mobility, flexibility, and this is a class that I've been doing pretty often to try and get that kind of strength through the ranges of movement, but also some mobility and flexibility and freedom in my shoulders. So I hope you enjoy, and we will dive right in. You will need a block and some sort of a strap or some kind of like stretchy band. We're just going to start with some shoulder rotations to start with. So taking the shoulders a little bit wider than the strap, a little bit wider than shoulder distance apart, and you're just going to take the arms overhead and then just taking the strap behind you. At first you want to kind of minimize the amount of rib movement that's going on to see if we can really begin to isolate that movement at the shoulder. So rather than when you're bringing the arms back, the chest lifting, keeping the ribs kind of anchored down and bringing the strap behind you. And hopefully after a couple of rounds of this, you might be able to bring the hands a little bit closer just to kind of get into a different part of the muscle fiber. You may also, when you bring the strap behind, just kind of pausing there in any sticky points, maybe just kind of wriggling around. And you can also here, you can begin to kind of move through the spine and the rib cage a little bit, just to get into any sticky points that might be there. And just doing a couple more like this. From there, you're just going to bring yourself into a side bend. You can just let go of the strap. Bring the hand to the back of the head. Side stretch a little bit more over to the side, and maybe just again kind of go forward and back, just to see where those sticky points around the ribs, around the shoulders are. You may just want to kind of pause and hold it in that sticky point, and then bring it all the way over to the other side, bending the elbow, bringing the hand to the back of the head. See if you can side bend a little bit more and get to go forward and back, just finding where those sticky points are. And then bringing it all the way back up. You're going to take the strap around your rib cage and take the strap into one hand. And then just take that hand out to the side so you're externally rotating the shoulder. Tilt the head away from the shoulder that's externally rotating, so bringing the ear towards the shoulder, and then just dropping the chin down, tilting the chin up. And again, you're just finding and searching out for those sticky points in the tissue. Exploring, moving, and with that movement just beginning to unstick and bring a little bit more freedom, hydration, fluidity. Bringing the head back to center, switching the hold of the hand, externally rotating the shoulder, tilting the head away from that shoulder, and then again just exploring. You can tilt the chin down, tilt it up, rotate, just seeking out those sticky points that we might not be going into on a daily basis. We feel it up into the ear, the jaw. And then from there, releasing the strap to the side. You're going to take your right hand and just make a fist. Bring your left hand onto your right side of your rib. You're going to take your right arm, reach it up overhead, and we're trying to see how much flexion we can get through the shoulder without, again, the shoulder, the rib cage popping forward, the chest lifting. So we're anchoring down through the ribs, taking that arm back as far as it'll go, and then from there you're going to rotate the arm out into external rotation, so the fingers will face out to the side, and then you're going to take the arm back behind you and continue to rotate so that the thumb begins to face down towards the ground. Keeping the arm straight, try not to rotate the spine, and then bring the arm by the side of your body. From there, you're going to reverse that position. You're going to take the arm back behind you, trying to find as much extension through that shoulder as you possibly can. When you hit your limit, you're then going to rotate the thumb up towards the ceiling, and then begin to rotate and bring the arm back in line with the ear, and then back down. Do that 2 more times. So taking the arm up, taking it as far as it'll go without the ribs popping up. See if you can squeeze a little bit more movement out of that shoulder flexion. Rotate the fingers face away from you, and then begin to rotate the thumb down, taking the arm back behind you. Imagine you have a wall by the side of you and you're trying not to hit that wall, and you're also trying not to rotate through your spine or move the spine, so it's just finding this movement at the shoulder. And then we're going to reverse that. We're going to take the arm back as high up as you can into extension, rotate the thumb up towards the ceiling, bringing it all the way up alongside the ear, and then bring it down by the side of your hip. We'll do that 1 more time. So taking it up, finding that flexion. See if you can squeeze a little bit more movement out, keeping the arms straight. Rotate the hand away, taking the arm back and around. Try not to hit that imaginary wall by the side of you. And then reverse, we're going to find as much extension through the shoulder as we possibly can. And this is a movement that we often don't do a whole lot of during our day-to-day activities. So it's good to train it. And then bring it down by your side. Bring the right hand onto the left side of the rib, make a fist with the left hand, keep the arm nice and straight. We're going to bring it all the way up into flexion, bringing it as far, as close to the kind of ear as you possibly can, and then begin to rotate the fingers away. Begin to take the arm, rotating the thumb down, taking it back behind you, and then bringing it by your side. Reverse, so you're going to take it back behind you. When you can get no further, you're going to rotate the thumb up and circle the arm alongside the ear, and then release it back down. 2 more like this. So nice and slow and controlled. Try to squeeze out as much movement as you possibly can. Rotating the palm away. Begin to take the arm back and around. And it should be challenging, it should be work as you're doing this. Taking the arm back behind you, finding as much extension, and then rotate the thumb up, circling it around, bringing it down. Last one, bringing it up. Again, try to find as much flexion as you can. How close to the ear or even behind the ear can you get it without popping the ribs up? Rotate the palm away. Begin to circle it around. Imagine again you have this imaginary wall next to you that you don't want to hit. You're going to bring it by your side, taking it up, finding as much extension as you can. Once you've found that, you're going to rotate the thumb up and to circle it around and release it down. And that's actually got me quite warm already. So we're going to grab your block, or if you don't have a block, some kind of thick book or something similar. You're going to bring it on the middle height, and you're going to place the block kind of where your, if you're a woman, where your kind of bra strap line is just above your bra strap, and for Men, it's where the bottom tips of your shoulder blades are. You're going to interlace the hands behind the back of your head, and then just begin to arch over the block here. Just feeling how your thoracic spine feels. You can kind of wriggle a little bit side to side. And then from there we're going to bring the elbows in towards each other, rounding up through the spine. And then you're going to rotate to your left. And then you're going to side bend to your left. And then you're going to arch back over to the left, to the center, over to the right. You're going to rotate to your right, flex through the spine, and then bring it over once again to the left, side bend, arch back, take it to the center, take it over to the right, rounding up, coming to center once again, and then we're going to reverse. So we're going to rotate to your right, side bend to the right, arching back, extending over the block, over to the left, rounding through the spine, bringing it back to center, over to the right, arching back, over to the left, and again back to center. Good. From there, you're just going to begin to arch back over the block, and then begin to round yourself forward as if you're doing like a sit-up, but the focus isn't on the abdominals. This is a little bit more into the vertebra of the thoracic spine. And we're just going to do a couple here, just arching back, just mobilizing through this section of the spine. Once again, arching back and bringing yourself up, and then you're just going to wriggle your spine down so you kind of onto the next vertebra up, away from the spine, the vertebra that we just did, and then once again begin to arch back and round yourself forward, arching back and round forward, and then once again just wriggle yourself down one more section of the spine, mobilizing into this part as you arch back, round yourself forward and arching back, and then we'll go one more, so wriggle down one more section, arching back over the block, rounding forward. Two more like this. Just beginning to mobilize into the spine. Good. And then from there, just going to remove the block and come onto hands and knees. So spreading through the fingers, bringing the wrists underneath the shoulders. And we're going to keep our spine nice and neutral, but we're going to mobilize through the shoulder blades. So imagine there's a line from the crown of the head to the tailbone, and that line isn't changing. But what you're going to do is keep your arms straight and just slide the shoulder blades towards each other, and then press into the hands and begin to widen the shoulder blades apart. So the shoulder blades slide towards each other and shoulder blades widen. Making sure you're keeping a connection from your chin to your sternum, so you're not kind of opening up through the throat. Keeping a nice balance between keeping the head nice and neutral and just moving through the shoulder blades. Remembering to keep the arms nice and straight. Good. And then the next time we come back to neutral, you're just going to slide your shoulder blades up towards your ears. Then slide the shoulder blades towards each other. Keep the shoulder blades towards each other as you slide the shoulder blades down your back. Widen the shoulder blades. Draw them towards your ears. Slide them towards each other. Slide them down the back. And then widen apart. One more like this. Shoulders towards the ears. Shoulders towards each other. Keep them towards each other as you slide them down the back. Widen them apart. And then draw them back towards the ears. And then we'll reverse that. So we'll take the shoulders away from the ears. Slide them towards each other. Keep them towards each other as you slide them up towards the ears. Widen apart. Slide them down the back. Slide them towards each other. Slide them up towards the ears. Widen apart. Last one like this. If you've lost where you are, you're just trying to create this circular movement through the shoulder blades. So any movement is good movement. And then just coming back to a neutral position. From there you're going to spin your right foot out to the right, and then you're going to step your left foot into like a half kneeling position. Bring your your left forearm onto your left thigh, and you're going to do like this swimming stroke with the right arm, just making a nice big circular movement. Trying to get as much movement out of this as you possibly can. Just doing one more. And then you're going to place your right hand down, step your left foot forward into a lunge position. And then you're going to curl your back toes under, lift your back knee, and then bring this left forearm underneath the left thigh, rounding through the spine. Bring the right knee down, open it up into a twisted lunge position. And then bring the forearm under the left thigh, lift that back knee, move the leg towards straight and round through your spine. Last one like this, opening that left arm, finding that rotation, and then the arm underneath the leg, round through the spine, and then release it down. Step your left foot back, come back onto hands and knees. And then again, protract and retract the shoulder blades, keeping the arms nice and straight, spine nice and long, just getting that movement through the shoulder blades. Take your left foot out to the left, take your right foot, stand it into a lunge, right forearm onto right thigh, and then do a back stroke with this left arm. Just getting nice big circles through this left shoulder. Take your left hand down, step your right foot forward into a lunge. Right arm comes underneath the right leg, lift that back knee, round through the spine, move that right leg towards straight, and then bend into that left knee, open it up into a rotation. And once again, lift that back knee, right arm underneath right leg, round through the spine. Lower that back knee, open it up into a rotation. And then one more time. Good, and then from there, step that right foot back and come down onto your belly. So we're going to need our block for this. So you're going to place the block just in front of you. You're going to make a fist with your left hand. So the block is just to the outside of your left hand. Rest your forehead onto your right hand. And then from there, you're just going to lift your arm over the block. So we're going to do 5 of these lifts. 4, 5. You're going to bring the block by your side. You're going to bring your arm into an internally rotated position so the the back of the hand is onto the ground. And again, 5 lifts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then bring the block out to the side. You're going to bring your thumb facing up towards the ceiling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then turn the thumb down, and again 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then from there, just resting your head onto the block, the left side of your head. You're going to bring your arm either straight out to the side or bent into like a cactus shape, depending on how much tightness and restriction you've got into the front of the pec there. You're going to roll onto your left side. You can either bend your knees or keep your legs straight. If you have a little bit more flexibility, you can bring your right leg back behind you. I'm very restricted here, so I'm just going to bend into the knees and just take a few breaths here. If you think about all the time that we spend with our arms in front of us, then we need to give it that time kind of in the opposite direction. So just taking some slow, smooth breaths here. Just giving your body time to adapt to the positioning. Good. And then from there, just rolling it onto your belly. You're going to come up onto hands and knees once again. Bring your elbow onto the block, and then just bring the left hand onto your back, and then come into like a little child's pose type position, and just kind of again wriggle around and just find where that line of tension into the back of the arm, the shoulder, maybe down into the around the ribs, side waist, maybe even to the back. Again, just taking some slow, smooth breaths. Giving your body time to adapt to the stretch, the position. And then from there, we will come back onto the belly. And we'll do the same on the other side. So first one is overhead. Make a fist, resting your hand onto your left hand and then taking the arm up and over. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. By your side. Into internal rotation, so the back of the hand is on the ground. 1, 2, see if you can keep the arms straight. 3, 4, 5, taking it out to the side with the thumb facing up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, thumb down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Then once again, bringing the block to rest the head onto. Either the arm comes, the right arm comes out straight to the side, or you bend the elbow, and then from there, just rolling onto your side. Again, you can have bent knees, straight legs. You can bring that top leg back behind you. So you're trying to find, I often describe it like the Goldilocks effect, where it's not too much of a stretch where you just can't wait for it to be over, but it's also not too little of a stretch where it's not creating a change in the tissue. So we're trying to find like a 6 or a 7 on the kind of stretch feel. So there's no pain, there's no discomfort, but you can feel sensation. And then you just breathe through it. Give your body time to adapt and adjust. From there, roll back onto your belly, and you're just going to again bring it into that tricep stretch. So elbow onto the block, coming into like a little crouching child's pose. And again, just kind of wriggling around and just finding where those lines of tension are. And then from there, we're going to take it up a notch. So you're going to take the block on the high setting. If this feels like it's too much, then obviously do the same thing, but on the middle setting again. Bringing the left hand into a fist, resting the head onto the right hand, and then just going to lift. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bring it to the side, into that internally rotate position. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Bring it out to the side into abduction, first with the thumb facing up. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Thumb down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. And then we'll bring it back into that pec stretch. Maybe if the first time you started with arms straight, maybe this time you can bend the elbow, rolling onto your side. Just playing with the positioning again so you can find where that line of tension is, where you feel like you need to bring a little bit more hydration, a little bit more freedom to those particular muscle fibers. And from there, we're just going to challenge this position. Can you make a fist with your hand, and can you lift the arm, can you lift the elbow up, away, so you're feeling that strength in that lengthened position. And release. Good. So not only do we want flexibility, but we also want to be strong in that flexible range. So again, once again, we're bringing that elbow onto the block. Again, finding where that line of tension is. And then the same thing that we did with the pecs. Can you lift the elbow off the block and not change the position? And release. Good. Last side. So bringing the block into that high setting. Make a fist with the right hand. Lifting up over the block. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Taking it to the side. back of hand faces down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Taking it out to the side. Thumb up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Thumb down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nice. Oh, it's actually created so much heat in my shoulders, which is it's a good thing. We want that. So we're going to place the block underneath our head once again. Again, either arms straight or elbow bent. Rolling onto your side. Again, just finding that position where it's a comfortable level of sensation. Not too much, not too little. You can just pause and stay and wait for the change to take place in your tissue. And then can you make a fist with the arm? Can you lift the elbow, lift the wrist away from the ground? And release. Rolling back into your belly. Bringing the elbow onto the block. Again, finding that position. And then from there, can you lift elbow off the block without changing the position of your spine or anything else? And release. Good. So just taking a moment to pause, maybe just having a little roll through the shoulders, seeing how they feel after all of that work. Placing one hand onto your belly, one hand onto your heart. Closing the eyes. Taking some slow, smooth breaths. Just landing in your body and just observing and noticing how you feel. And I am so glad that you joined me, and I hope to see you next time.